think I'm just gonna wing this. What's good, everybody? As I said so many times before, it's been a while. Welcome back to another episode of Street Smarts, the series where we go through different tips on emotional intelligence. This time we're reading through Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It goes through 4 different categories. Because of the fact that I'm really bad at having discipline, we're just gonna go through them together. It's gonna keep me accountable, and then hopefully you guys learn stuff as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. You like my new setup? You know what I'm saying? I got a little Acura, a little Code Geass, I got a little soundproofing, you know what I'm saying? I'm back, boy. So right now we're in the self-awareness section. There's 4 different categories: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. So there's about 20 tips for each one of these sections. So we're just gonna go through about like 3 to 5 per video, see how it flows, and then we're just gonna go with that. Let's get it. So the first step that we're gonna go over is jotting down your emotions in a journal. Let's be real, there's a lot of noise that goes around up here in our brain. If we write things down, it kind of forces you into a state where you have to really think about what you feel. Unless you meditate, you really don't have time to center yourself. So if you're jotting down the emotions you feel in the day in a journal, it'll help you become more aware about how you feel, and then you'll learn more about yourself and different emotions that you feel. Probably not something that I'm going to do because I get stressed out easily and I don't want to write unless it's writing music. So yeah, emotional intelligence, I'm not doing that. So that's the first one that I'm not gonna do. I probably should though. I might do it, who knows? If I do, I'll let you know. All right, tip number 2, it's really easy for us to wake up and then, not get enough sleep and then roll out of bed or out of milk or whatever, or there's little things like that that put us in the mind frame of, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those days, everything's gonna suck today. And then, misery breeds company. I'm a firm believer in whatever you look for in this life is what you'll find. So if you look for reasons to have a bad day, well, sorry to break it to you, but you're gonna have a bad day. But same thing if you're looking for good things too. This is why this is a great day, because we'll sit here and we'll scream up and down that something is so wrong with fresh air. The fact that we have access to clean drinking water, we have so much access to all these things that we've just become used to, when there's some people that don't have that. Or maybe even write those things down, write down all the good things that happen. And then you might realize that life is not quite as bad as we thought it was. All right, and tip number 3 for the day in the self-awareness category kind of ties into tip number 2. Don't be fooled by a good mood either. We can think, you know what? I don't care what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have a great day today. And that's whenever we get pooped on the most. We can't allow ourselves to be moved by the patterns of the day. We need to keep a general disposition about how we feel so that we're not moved by that. Because if we're easily moved by a good day, then we'll be just as easily moved by a bad day. But if we keep a general basis where we allow ourselves to feel these negative or positive feelings, but we don't entirely lean into either one, it allows us to have a better threshold for stress. I'm just rambling at this point. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I need to get the dust off. It's been a while since I sit in front of the camera. I don't really have a script. I'm just freestyling, so hopefully you're enjoying this as much as I'm not. And I'm feeling pretty good today, so we're gonna throw an extra tip in there. You're gonna notice a trend with the self-awareness section of this book as we go through it together, that there is a big emphasis on reflection. It's so important. The good thing about reflecting is whenever we encounter a situation, it allows us to learn from that experience so we don't repeat the same mistake. So with that being said, the last tip that we're going to be going over today is take a second to reflect on why you do the things you do throughout the day. Whether it's the positive things you do that you responded well to, or the negative things that you just don't necessarily like about yourself. I can say that for me, one of the things that I'm not a huge fan of is when I feel as though people talk down to me like I don't have the experience that I have. Wisdom doesn't necessarily have to come with age. Someone who has lived longer may have experienced more things. They may have learned less from those said experiences. I don't really care where advice comes from, whether it's somebody who's junior to me or someone who's above me. What matters is it sound advice. But oftentimes I'll run into people where they will try to turn every conversation into a lecture about life. It's one thing if you know more about the job and you're trying to put me on game. It's another thing if you're trying to tell me how to orchestrate my life. We're talking about like, hey, how's life going? You know, I'm just going through it. Yeah, man, you know, hey, one thing is, man, if I could pass something on to you, you not my daddy, you not my mama. Don't be trying to pass me nothing. Don't be sitting here and acting like you've given a young boy game, man. I'm not one of them. There's a certain people that have earned that spot in my life. You're not one of them. Don't be trying to sit here and try to spit. All right, obviously I digress. You can tell that that's something that bothers me. Don't talk down to me if you haven't established that I'm someone that needs to be talked down to. But the thing is regardless of whether or not that person knows how much life experience I do or don't have, it doesn't change the fact that I know how much life experience that I have. And regardless of if they got me messed up or they have me confused with somebody else, I know me. So why am I personally offended by how someone else feels about me when they're wrong? If someone's wrong about you, you know it, and they don't. And that's it. That's where that story ends and dies. They're not paying your bills, so it doesn't really matter if they know you or if they don't know you. It doesn't change the fact that you know yourself. One of the things that I'm working on is I'm trying to work on becoming more comfortable with other people not knowing me. I try to present myself in a very specific way. If I'm aware of those triggers, right, and I'm aware of my responses, and they may not always be appropriate, I might try to flip it on them or something like that. It allows me to control my response and better get to know that. So that's just something that I'm working on, right? But hey, let me know what you're working on. What are the positive behaviors that you've noticed that you want to continue to work on, or what are some of the negative behaviors that you need to work on? Let me know in the comments. Maybe we're on the same wavelength, because let me tell you, there's a lot of things that I need to work on right now. But it's been your boy C Leone. Good to be back. Hopefully I can keep up the content this time. I'm trying to do a little standing thing. I feel a little bit more free. I can walk over here. I can walk over here. So we're gonna try to do, at least we're gonna start out like maybe once a week with the videos, real light. And then depending on how easy these are to put out, there's a lot of people that asked for it. So hey, here you go. I'm back, all right? So this has been your boy C Leone with episode 3 of Street Smarts, and I'll see y'all next time. Ha ha.